Ready?
Hello and welcome to Rhythm and Pixels, the video game music podcast. This is episode 7-2, and we're your hosts. I'm Rob Nichols.
And I'm Pernell.
Every week we get together, we hang out, we choose some topics, and we pick some tracks. So we were just talking about Russian Attack.
Yeah, like the game for the old NES called Russian Attack, R-U-S-H apostrophe and attack. And I'm 36 years old, and for some reason it only just clicked for me. Like, was that just intended to mask Russian Attack?
Yeah, it's like, I think it's just a play on words, right? Like, it's they're Russians, and they're rushing you.
So you gotta attack, but we don't want it to be displayed on the box in case someone sees it and gets angry.
That was like the first game I played that was like a run and gun side scroller.
Yeah, it was an awesome one too. You got the knife or the bazooka that you could find sometimes.
Yeah, actually, in that way, it plays almost just like Shinobi.
It kind of does. Not as fast, but then again, I might be thinking about Shinobi 3, which was completely unlike the other Shinobi games in a way.
Was 3 Shadow Dancer?
No, Shadow Dancer was 2. Shadow Dancer was when we had the dog.
Oh, Shadow Dancer was just a play on words.
Yeah, because you were dancing in the shadows.
Dancing in the shadows.
What that actually referred to was dancing on the corpse of your fallen foes who go dark when they die.
You know, I remember when I was really young going to the laundromat with my mom, and they had a Russian Attack cabinet, and that's where I first played that game.
See, I didn't even know that existed. I just knew that it was sometimes on occasional playtins, I think it was. But
yeah, a lot of those older titles that came out from Nintendo, I think, were originally had arcade releases. Like Contra. Remember, you ever play Contra in the arcade?
Yeah, but I hated it compared to the Nintendo one. Nintendo fixed a lot. We're going to ramble forever on this.
No. I got one more to say. I got one more thing.
Well, I will say that Nintendo games made arcade releases so much better. Like I saw Rygar recently, thanks to PS4's Arcade Archives. That game looks terrible compared to the Nintendo version. I'm sorry.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like it loses something, which is funny since the Nintendo version was following the arcade game. But
yeah, you know what I liked on the Nintendo more was Double Dragon. The Double Dragon arcade game was rough.
Yeah, I didn't like the arcade game. And
I didn't
like Double Dragon 2 in the arcade either. I didn't like either one. Just not happening. The Trait West home release was way better.
And then there were the games that had like special controllers, like 720.
I think I ever saw that one's controller.
It's a stick, but it's on a dial and it spins around. So it's like you can spin the stick around in a circle.
Weird.
It's really weird. Or any of the trackball games like Marble Madness.
Now that game was awesome.
My Rollerball Jam was okay. That's a band name. I call it Rollerball Jam. Is Crystal Castles. I love Crystal Castles.
Never played it.
Oh, so good.
I just know there's a band with the same name.
Oh yeah, that's right. But no, the music in Crystal Castles it's really like old, but it's really cool. So if you ever get a chance to see it, I know of one place and it's like an hour and a half away.
Maybe I can find it on an emulator, or maybe one of my retro collector friends has it. I can mooch off of them and give it a go.
Yeah, give it a go. But it's definitely better with the mouse pad or the trackball.
Whoa,
trackball.
Wait, so Crystal Castles also used the trackball?
Crystal Castles was a trackball.
Oh crap, that's gonna be frustrating.
Yeah, it's tough. Okay, so yeah, now. Now we've gone on a little bit too long.
Your fault!
I know it's my fault. I just got really into talking about these arcade games. But that's a future episode. This episode was going to be the second part of Decadence, but instead, this is coming out on the week of Valentine's Day. So we thought we would do a fancy-dancy, fancy-pantsy, holding hands, hugging your people's Valentine's show.
Well, that's what Rob's doing.
That's what I'm doing.
See, that's what Rob's doing. See, we have an interesting dynamic here at Team Rhythm and Pixels, which is that there's like the love angle. That's Rob.
Yeah.
And then there's the other half of the spectrum, and that's me. And you might ask, what is the other half of the spectrum? There's love and there's hate. Well, not hate. We're not going there. We don't hate here.
No. No, but I mean, I would say maybe they're not doing love and hate, but we're doing like romance
and tragedy.
And tragedy.
That's right, because as a great poet would say, can't have romance without tragedy. They kind of bounce off each other. So, figured it'd be a good episode idea.
I think it's a great idea. I already had a bunch of romantic tunes picked out. My whole set is going to be Super Nintendo, super sexy Nintendo.
And mine is going to be put your face in your hands and just kind of get morose with a variety of games from a variety of systems.
This is going to be great because we're going back and forth. It's like, here's a romantic track. Here's an awful track.
I feel so dumb.
Well, not bad.
I feel low.
It's not going to be like awful tracks, but it's going to be like tragic, right?
Exactly. Like, I don't pick bad music, but the music might give you some feels, is what I'm saying.
All right, well, I'm going to start off with, I think I've only played from this game once. It's by composer Nobuo Uematsu. This is from Front Mission Gun Hazard for the Super Nintendo. And this is called Promise Engagement.
Promise Engagement.
So Promise and Engagement. So I think this is like, this is you're getting married. This is it. And you're making a promise.
It's the big day.
You're making that promise to Nobuo Uematsu.
You better not hurt his feelings or I'll break your legs.
Yeah, don't hurt him, man. Don't hurt Uematsu. We're listening to Promise and Engagement from the game Front Mission Gun Hazard for the Super Nintendo by composer Nobuo Uematsu.
Yeah, it makes me start to want to think because I know what kind of game Front Mission is unless Gun Hazard was like a weird spin-off. But
I think it's similar to the other games because there's a lot of battle music and there's a lot of music of specific characters, and like the battle music is like this big grand orchestrated stuff with like lots of like military drums.
Ooh.
And then the character music is usually kind of funky, so it's like, and then there's a lot of dialogue music in this game. I'm assuming it's dialogue. This has got to be dialogue music.
You're probably right because like I've only played the third game, but that game had a ridiculous amount of dialogue.
Front Mission 3 was
matches.
PlayStation, right?
Yeah, PS1. That was the first one we got in the States, actually. So that was our initial early exposure. Like, I hope this series is good. People in Japan like it.
But anyway, I think that this soundtrack is really varied. It's all Nobuo Uematsu, which kind of makes sense because he's got like this. He does like a lot of like symphonic, very classical, cinematic stuff, but he has like a lot of rock stuff too, so it all kind of blends together in the soundtrack. It's really nice. So, and this starts to really, at the very end, when it kind of heads out and then those bells come back in. It's just, this is a lovely track. I love it.
So you definitely can see this being like a good, like if you were listening to this outside the context of the game.
If I could hear if I heard this at a romantic restaurant, I would be very happy.
You would share one spaghetti noodle between you and the missus.
Yeah.
Lady, oh, there it is. See, that's the test. Can it be applied to Lady and the Tramp? Because if it can, it works.
Oh my god.
I was like, oh, come on. That was like the romantic movie for kids.
Okay. Oh yeah, I guess.
But they share the spaghetti.
They do. You know, it's cute. I know. I'm just trying to remember the movie. There's dogs in it.
Yeah. Lady was the really nice upscale dog, and then Tramp was like the alley cat, the alley dog.
Okay.
And he liked Lady. Lady was like, I don't need you. And there's like spaghetti.
And there were no bears in it, right?
Well, I can't confirm. There's always a chance for bears, you know.
There.
Always a chance for bears.
All right. So, what's your counterpoint to this track?
Well, I got to bring it down a bit. All right, now that you guys are all huggy buggy, let's take that and get it hit by a car, because we're working with the next track on our roster, which happens to be Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, titled A World of Sorrow. Hope you think it's adequate. Welcome back. You are listening to A World of Sorrow from the game Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. And this is about to feel like a train wreck, but here I am. Let's try this out. Written and composed by Yuka Sugiyoko, Naoko Mitome, Atsushi Yoshida, and Kanako Tarame. Or Tarame. But It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
No.
I'll be dang. But yeah, this track definitely to me hits a nice note of tragic, but it also offers up a slight level up from that. Like, it's not quite down in the dumps tragic. It's more like something bad just happened and we're mourning, but we'll press on afterwards.
It's got like a little melancholy going on, but it slowly lifts back up. It's definitely down throughout.
In this game, I don't remember exactly what scenes it's played on because it's been a ridiculously long time since I've played Path of Radiance, but I do know that the game itself had a number of tragic moments. And the main character's Pop getting murdered, and you spend most of the game on the run, pretty much like your mercenary troop is on the run from John Q. Law, or just Warring Kingdoms, whichever you pick. But all in all, throughout though, you are constantly motivated to press on throughout all the grim aspects of the game that take place until you eventually become, until the sequel anyway, you don't become anything spectacular, but you become an awesome, just heroic human being who goes on and almost becomes more like a rebel. Like, your team becomes like a group of mercenary rebels.
So this whole game, you're kind of like rising.
In a way, yeah, because like you're originally just a pay-for-hire group.
Huh.
And through a series of events, you kind of get caught up in political intrigue. And rather than just run from it, your main character kind of just ultimately kind of steps up to the plate and says, okay, well, if this is how it's got to be, who can we help out to make things work out better? And, you know, like align yourself with some other countries and things of that nature. And ultimately, it's been a long time. So no listeners, don't string me up or nothing. But it's
you do so much of the show just like from memory. It's insane.
Yeah, that's what throws me off sometimes. I was like, this is going to be one of those weird episodes where it's like, crap, I'm kind of loose here because not so much memory on this episode.
All I can really say is I like this piano section a lot.
Oh, yeah, it just sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, this is a great soundtrack. I really like this full sound like of actual instruments, which is really nice.
And it was a surprise hit game, too. Like, it came out to a really low print.
You said it was GameCube, right?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So it came out to like a low print. Didn't do too well. But down the line, people started to realize how awesome it was. And then when the even lower printed sequel came out, it became like a huge drought for this game and that game. It was ridiculous. Now they both sell for a stupid amount of money. But I got them and they're fun. And we'll have to try them sometime. Cool. Right. What's your next choice, sir?
My choice. So this is the date. So this is the date music. So you and your special somebody going out to a jazz club.
Ooh, specifically a jazz club. Oh wait, that has significance to you. But
that's right. It does.
Bring that up later, though. You can bring.
I can. I mean, I don't want to get too personal on the show. So this is called. The track is called "Tasteful," from the game Tales of Fantasia for the Super Nintendo, by Motoi Sakuraba and Shinji Tamura.
Well, that's why you were getting confused with "Tasteful."
Yeah, I thought I just wrote down, this is a tasteful track, but no, it's actually called "Tasteful." So enjoy. You're listening to Tasteful from the game Tales of Fantasia for the Super Nintendo by Motoi Sakuraba and Shinji Tamura.
I like. So, you said this is actually the shop music?
Yeah, it's called the Aegis Shop. I don't know. I'm just reading my notes, man.
There might be a specific shop in the game for all we know. But all I know is, man, this sounds like the shop that can sell some quite loving trinkets, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so I met my wife 14 years ago, listening to a jazz band play. Not a great jazz band.
But it's jazz, man. It couldn't have been a bad jazz band, right? At least adequate.
They were okay. They were good. They're enough for us to go back.
Yeah. So you could tap your toe to it, tap your feet,
Totally. They
snap
had
your fingers.
It had a guitar player, a saxophone player, and a keyboard player.
Nice.
They needed a bass player so bad.
And unfortunately, if I'm not mistaken, the place that it existed at doesn't exist anymore, correct?
No, that was shut down. I don't know if there's anything there anymore. It's across the street from the... Actually, it's across the street. If you're in Wilmington, there's a place called the Queen Theater, in which they used to have the World Cafe Live, which you hear on NPR sometimes. And I don't think World Cafe's there anymore. So
it'll be gone in May, but I think someone else is already looking to buy it.
It's supposed to be under new management. Yeah, we saw some cool stuff there, but otherwise, yeah. So jazz music. My wife doesn't even really like jazz music a whole lot, to be honest with you.
Well, jazz music is an interesting thing to me, though. It's like I can't think of a single jazz album, like tune, artist, or album that I could recommend. But I like jazz in the sense that if it comes on, almost without fail, it's an easy like doom.
Yeah, if it's the
like,
right kind of jazz, you can kind of get into it. Yeah,
you just relax. It puts you in a different place, you know.
Yeah. So this is like, you know, the engagement's passed, and now you're out there, and you drove past the car accident from Fire Emblem.
Yes.
And now you're getting that, you're putting that behind you, and you ordered a nice dinner. There's a candle lit, and you're just having a good time.
Okay.
So all right. So what happened?
So
no, what happens in your track?
All right. So first, I'm going to let the track play first, and then I'm going to follow the story because I kind of like where this is going. So the next track on my roster happens to be Digital Devil Saga. I actually mentioned this on a previous episode too. And the track is called Spider String First Movement, which, for those who are familiar with the show, I chose second movement the last time. This time is first.
Oh, really? Which episode?
I don't even remember the episode. It's been a while though. But we're talking a long time ago, maybe like the early to mid of last year. So
okay, cool. Well, let's check this out, right? Digital Devil Saga. This is one of your favorites.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
A lot of sadness in that game.
Yeah. Yeah, some dark music too.
Mm-hmm. Welcome back. You are listening to the track Spider String, first movement from the game Digital Devil Saga from the Shin Megami Tensei series, written and composed by the man, myth, legend, Shoji Meguro.
Yeah, this is some somber stuff, man.
Oh yeah, so to go along with your story theme here, so you and the lady are out at the dinner, and you're having a great time, but you're hoping this might be the night where you might want to pop a specific special question to her. So, you've got it all planned out. You have a special dish coming out just for her that she doesn't know, that's coming. Unfortunately, though, you didn't actually do your homework and figure out what her allergic reactions would be. So, turns out she's allergic to said dish. She begins to choke on it, and she has to get rushed to the hospital.
Oh, man.
This music is playing during the ambulance ride and in the hospital room as you sit there and question, how could I love a person so much and not even be as knowledgeable to know what their allergies actually happen to be?
Oh, wow.
What was I thinking?
That's this music to a T. What was I thinking? Girl, what was I thinking? Yeah.
How would I know
a little too high
that
there.
you hated seafood? Specifically, that shrimp amandine that I ordered for you.
So spider string is a food allergy.
Yes. It conveys food allergies.
Sorry, honey, I didn't know you were allergic to spiders.
But yeah, like from the game's perspective, though, this is also there. Like there's a lot of like just sad moments. Like I mentioned the show at one point, but there again, there's a whole idea of like these like pretty much automaton people suddenly being given emotions and concepts of humanity, but at the same time being told, okay, well, now you have to start killing each other because the last gang standing gets to ascend. And there's just moments where people are like trying to make alliances, like we don't have to do this, and it's like nope, I'm gonna eat you, and just crazy, bizarre stuff.
Yeah, since the Shin Megami Tensei series is crazy.
But they got the man Shoji to come together and slap up a wonderful OST that perfectly accompanies this game and its story conveyed, both triumphant, sad, and also kind of fun.
It is kind of dreamy and shoegazy at the same time. I really like this tune. This might be one of my favorites from the episode, actually.
Oh.
I really like this.
Oh, there's more to go, and you got a story link to come up with. So.
Oh, great. All right, so my next track is from the game Star Ocean for the Super Nintendo, keeping with the Super Nintendo theme, and this is called Calm Time. Again, keeping with the theme of Motoi Sakuraba. I love Motoi Sakuraba. So this is from the game Star Ocean for the Super Nintendo. This is Calm Time.
I almost regret not going all Shoji Meguro.
That would have been pretty good. That would have worked too.
Battle!
I'm coming home, West Virginia. Coming home.
That's so perfect.
It just fits. So yeah, this is Calm Time from Star Ocean for the Super Nintendo, composed by Motoi Sakuraba. And this is such a lyrical song. This is the wedding. This is the wedding music.
How do you get to the wedding from where I left off?
She got better, and now spiders are off the menu.
She got better.
No, it's all good.
How'd she get better? Wizards.
Yeah, this is wizard magic. Love is magic.
Love is magic. I mean,
This is like triumphant love saves everything music.
it's true.
That's right.
All right.
End of podcast.
There's one more.
This is it.
song.
Anyway, I don't know much about Star Ocean except it's like kind of futuristic, right?
Yeah, they have it's a better or worse thing in my idea because it's always like a space theme where there's it's like Star Trek based like type technology traveling between worlds.
Yeah.
But they also have that concept that Star Trek has. You would understand the name better than me because I don't watch the show much. But the idea that when you go to a distant planet, you can't let on what technology exists beyond their planet.
Right. That's the prime directive is to leave other civilizations, pre-warp civilizations.
Yeah, so that's exactly it. So like every time what ends up happening, it's like always be like this guy that comes from like a futuristic environment that lands on like a planet. It's like, okay, now back to swords and sorcery. Even though I have a laser in my pocket right now, the world is in a great problem. It's like sorry, great problem. The world is in a horrible state,
Right.
And all's on the line, but I can't break that prime directive. So bamboo stick it is, but makes no blasted sense. But they're fun games in their own right, though. And unfortunately, this is the only one I've never played too, because it didn't come to the States initially. We didn't start getting the series until the second game,
Right.
And then later on, we got a PSP port of the first game.
Oh, okay.
But you know me, it's sitting on the shelf. So someday I'd like to try it.
Yeah, I played the one for the PS2
Till the end of time.
till the end of time, and it was cool, but like I felt like I think I hit a wall at some point, and then it was just kind of done. I have a really hard time with action RPGs, and I'd prefer more of a tactical battle thing.
I can see that too, because for me, I like them, but I feel like the Tales games and the Star Ocean games, for that matter, initially it's like, hey, here's a bunch of skills that you can apply to your characters to do dodges and speed dashes across the map, blah, blah, blah. But as you get to the end point of the game, and where all the chips are down, all the bosses get hard, it just becomes like a battle of attrition. You're just trading blows at this point, because they make enemies unblockable at certain times, or like they have insane guards, or they have moves that cover the entire screen. So it's like, even though I'm able to dodge where? You're just going to suck up damage like a sponge and you just deal with it. So, but they're still fun, and you can kind of trick your guys up to be like, okay, I wanted to have a guy set up here to do this, and you can still get a little strategic.
Yeah, but
it's not like it could be.
yeah. I think it's just like my skill level never really got past a certain point, and then I was just like, that's all right. I had a good time with this.
Practice makes the perfect.
I know. Didn't feel like practicing anymore for now.
That. Calm time.
Calm Time. It's very calm. It's got a lot of good harps in it. I think the harps are really successful.
Yeah, but I didn't even think about that being a harp, but you're right.
Well,
I just like the
Well, at the very end, there's on the bridges to the next section. Here it comes.
Oh, I see. There it is.
Yeah, kind of like a little waterfall of harps. Harp waterfall.
I just kind of get absorbed into the do. I like
There's
that
all
sound
sorts of
very
lyrics
much.
happening in this song, and then like the second part it gets even more lyrical. It's really cool.
Yeah, I think I would say this is probably my favorite track from the episode.
Oh, I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, this is great.
It's funny. I do like to listen to a lot of like mopey music, like in my own time.
Hey, I can't knock that. I listen to shoegaze. I mean, come on. That's like the epitome of like the mope genre. Next to blues, maybe. Though I'm not sure. Sometimes I wouldn't mind thinking that shoegaze is more mopey than blues, by sound at least, not lyric.
Yeah, sometimes it's like the sound or the feeling, but all right. So what is your last track?
Oh, I'm gonna cap this story right.
Okay, so yeah, all right, come on. All right, just do it. Just put me out of my misery.
The track
Just come on, it's fine. Don't
is from the game Shining Force 2, and it's called Dying Wishes.
Great.
No, I did not plan this. This was Rob's idea. I just went with it. Welcome back. You're listening to the track Dying Wishes from the game Shining Force 2, written and composed by Motoaki Takenouchi. That's probably going to go on the record as my rough translation, but a rough pronunciation. But I'm running with it. So.
Oh, man. I love this. This song is great. I love this sound on this little section here, and then he gets in Motoaki Takenouchi can't even help himself. He's like this little jazzy like
It's a really good track. I can't think of a great deal of tragic moments from this game, but I do know there was like moments like your entire city getting swallowed up in an earthquake, and then you're on a boat sailing away, mourning the loss of everyone you've ever cared about.
But
that was
hey, you're on a boat.
Hey, we're climbing buoys. Well, whatever existed during that era of history or time or whatever, medieval period. But I would say that she got better, and you popped the question, and she agreed. So the wedding commenced, and it was the most grand gala the world had ever seen, or at least your neighborhood. And people came out and they enjoyed themselves. It was spectacular. So 2 weeks after the honeymoon, a certain knock goes up at the door, and unfortunately, it's Tiny Breaklegs. Tiny's not pleased with the fact that you took out a massive load.
His last name is Breaklegs.
Breaklegs. That's what he wants you to know. He's tiny, but man, he'll break them legs.
The mob's got really unimaginative names now.
Yeah, they just want you to know what they're there for. They're there to break legs.
My name is Billy. Billy, take your money. I'm sorry. Complete destroying my story.
Yes. So it turns out, unfortunately, he forgot to tell his beloved that he was so gung-ho and excited about making her wonderful wedding day absolutely perfect that he took a small $50,000 loan from the mob and had no intention of actually paying it back because, the mob they're good people. They'll just let it go when they realize it was for love, right? So, unfortunately, that is not the case. So, Tiny Breaklegs wasn't quite feeling up to snuff for his usual duty, so he went out and got his buddy Billy Blast Chest to show up.
Oh my God.
And he shot him. And so he was shot. So as his beloved holds him in her arms, sobbing, he whispers in her ear, "I did it all for you, honey. I just wish for you to live a long and happy life, and I'm sorry."
I'm shaking my head. Oh, my love story, Purnell.
No.
Video game love story.
Hey, there's room for improvement, because there's a certain area of the show that has yet to come.
I think I'm going to name the show the Video Game Love Story. I think that's a good title for it.
That could be pretty fun.
Well, great pick.
Thank you very
Great
much,
pick.
sir.
I really like it. I love the soundtrack. So it's this one and the first one are just so good.
I just think, honestly, that this entire episode had a fairly solid roster of tunes to be chosen.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a lot in the back pocket for this one, which was helpful.
And honestly, I think I need to get more for a sequel episode in my back pocket, because there's a lot out there, but it's hard to dig it up sometimes, because this is one of those topics where the music may be less in the forefront of what I'm expecting to remember when I'm recalling great tracks in video game history.
Next year, we're going to switch places.
What? No!
Yes.
I do tragedy!
Life isn't always tragic, Pernell. Except for when it is.
That is true. That is true.
All right, so let's bring this track down, because it is now time for the bonus round.
Bonus round.
That's good. The bonus round is the part of the show where we play covers and remixes based on today's theme. I'm going to stick with my theme and play from a band that I love, which is the Megas.
Oh boy.
So I'm not sure. Now that they have that acoustic album, should I go rockin' plugged in, or should I go acoustic? I think I want to go plugged in, actually.
Go with the plugged in. Bring the spirits up a tad.
All right, let's do that. All right, so this is Blue Like You, the Flashman stage from the Megas. That was Blue Like You from the Megas.
I like that song.
Yeah. So Flashman is sad and lonely and wants Mega Man to be with him for all time.
But he can't because he needs that flash stopper.
Yeah. But he needs that flash stopper. I gotta keep going.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of like Mega Man just running through the stages like, gotta get you. All right, gotta keep going. I'll see you later.
Give me a gun.
Oh, wait, I'm thinking of another speedy blue object. Gotta go fast. Gotta go fast.
Chili dogs. That's what they'll slow down for those, of course.
Slow down for the chili dog.
Poor Sonic. He needs more. Maybe we'll do a Sonic episode someday.
I feel like a full-on Sonic episode.
There's so many games in this history.
Yeah.
It could be done.
Yeah, follow your rainbow. Do it.
Escape from that city. Escape from that city forever.
Forever. All right. So, what did you bring for your bonus round?
My track, I don't think it's nearly as long as yours was, but I still think it's a good one. I couldn't do an episode with the tragedy being the theme without pulling this track out of my pocket.
All right.
And I came across a good, I guess, rendition where the guy kind of do some piano in there, some sweet, sweet piano. So, without further ado, the track is called Alan and Cyril Forever from the game Breath of Fire 1. And the composer is Jorge Fuentes. Welcome back. So that was Alan and Cyril Forever by Jorge Fuentes remixer for the game Breath of Fire 1.
That was awesome.
And I actually sort of chose this one intentionally because, well, it's sort of, it could go either way with this track because, again, my memory of the game is kind of rusty, but I'm not sure, like, depending on how you look at it, if you're a glass half empty or full guy, they either died at the end of their story arc or they are lost in time, but at least they're together, lost in time.
So you had to end the episode on an ambiguous note.
Better believe it. Sometimes I got it in me. Yeah, once in a while.
Well, for more information on the artists in the bonus round part of the show, check out rhythmandpixels.com, and we'll have links to their Bandcamp, SoundClouds, and anywhere else where you can find their music. Thanks for joining us today on our celebration of love
and our appreciation for tragedy.
Kind of the yin and yang of Rhythm and Pixels.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Well, maybe a little, but I like this too.
So this has been episode 7-2 of Rhythm and Pixels. And yeah, I think our next episode will either be Squalor or it'll be a special guest.
If it ends up not being Squalor just yet, that'll just give us more time to spend all of our money. I mean, yeah, Squalor.
Yeah. So if you have any topic suggestions for us, send us an email.
rhythmandpixels@hotmail.com.
Oh, yeah. And, girl, check out the website.
rhythmandpixels.com.
If you want to check out our Facebook, Instagram, social media, everywhere, it's Rhythm and Pixels. You can go there. I'm also kind of cross-posting the show on YouTube, so if that's more convenient for you, head on over to YouTube, and everything should be up to date over there.
Give us a look-see. No matter how you feel you want to look, just do it. And please, topic suggestions, crazy questions.
Yeah.
Anything your heart desires. If you want to talk about how weird my voice sounds, if you want to talk about how sultry Robin's voice sounds, if
tonight.
you want to hear Elvis bark.
I have been sick for like a week and a half now. I don't get it.
As healthy as you are, there's almost bound to be a time where your body's like, crap, we got a real battle to fight now.
I'm on the microchip. The microchip has been compromised. That's usually what happens.
Covered in germs.
I want to give some, at the end of the show, I think I want to give a shout out to some other great podcasts out there.
Ooh.
There's a lot of other podcasts out there, people doing good work. There is the Pixel Tunes Radio with Mike and Ed. Gotta love those guys.
Of course, I have the shirt.
And then there is the new one that we just started listening to, Nerd Noise Radio.
Channel 1.
Channel 1. It's just all music. It's just awesome.
It is very much so. It's a straight sweep, and it's pretty good for a relaxing workday.
Yeah, and then also check out the VGM Jukebox starring Keyglyph. That's also a fantastic podcast. And of course, the Legacy Music Hour, the grandpappy of video game music podcasts. But listen to us first before all of them, because...
Yes, because I mean, we mentioned them to you. So
actually, we started it. We created the internet just so that we could put this podcast out there.
Not just the internet. We asked it, where do you think electricity came from?
Oh, exactly. Oh,
just saying.
Where do you think lightning came from?
Appreciation. Appreciate.
And I don't think we're being appreciated.
That Big Bang thing didn't just happen on its own, you know.
You know, we gave you podcast. We can take it away.
Well, disclaimer, we can't actually take away anything.
Disclaimer, we can't. And we're actually really humbled by all of those other great podcasts.
I agree. They're all wonderful people.
I'm just being silly. No, they're all fantastic. Also, check out the Forever Sound version.
That man's freaking awesome.
Yeah, that guy is great. So definitely check him out.
And I gotta say, since we started doing this more and actually talking to more podcast folk, it's a very friendly community I'm gathering. I mean, like, you always hear, like, on the, like, every once in a while, it's like these news stories, like, such and such is a controversy. He says something about atheists or something.
Yeah, there's no beef between the shows, which is really nice.
Yeah, and I come to like that a lot. I feel like it's misrepresented overall from the media from a grand perspective, because when you really drill down to it, everybody's genuinely pretty friendly.
I am so tired of hearing people badmouth video game podcasts in the media.
What? I didn't say that. I'm just saying.
I know. Just the East Coast, West Coast thing. Another podcast presenter, killed before his time.
Yeah. The turf war is nobody's business. He came out with a parasol stars. They brought a Russian attack. It just wasn't happening.
Oh, I love that. Bringing it back to Russian attack.
Mm-hmm.
Nicely done.
Do what I do.
All right, let's make like Shinobi.
And surfboard on a mechanical surfboard.
Yeah, that's how we leave the show. That's how we leave every show. I want that like on a T-shirt. That would be so good. All right. So anyway, you've been listening to the Rhythm and Pixels video game music podcast. I'm Rob Nichols,
and I'm Pernell.
Have a great week and have a great Valentine's Day.
And remember, if you happen to have that special someone in your life, appreciate, enjoy. Celebrate. Whether it's cheap or expensive, it's the thought that counts. And if you don't, and it's feeling a little on the tragic side, you got to take the tragic to appreciate the good that will eventually come your way. Just enjoy what you've got in your life at the time. Friends, family, ramen. Especially ramen.
Especially ramen.
And just look forward to good times that are eventually going to come. Good night and... Jesus.